Hey y'all, it's Burgess Taylor. I wanted to do a watercolor with me, but I ended up doing it. I thought I hit film, and I did not. So I thought instead of doing that, I talk about my journals and what I'm using. This is still a little bit wet. This is the Inktober. And for those of you who are wondering, I don't normally pick political stuff, but it had a shark. And it said we're going to need a bigger boat. And that was kind of what I was going with. I actually just love the shark. I thought this was hilarious. Whether I am or am not a Trump supporter, I still think, I think this is hilarious. I'm still figuring out, some people have made suggestions about this, and I'm going to redo it. I don't know when I'm going to redo it, but I'm going to redo. So I just kind of wanted to show y'all. I'm doing a bunch of different things. I am not worried about, let's just say that for me, when you choose prompts, sometimes they relate to what you have going on in your life. Sometimes they don't. I wanted something from whatever prompt I'm choosing to sort of stick out, to make me think about things, to be fun, to be out of my comfort zone. And that's why I've been choosing things. So this is the cover of a paperback by John Sanford called Deep Freeze. And I happened to notice it because there was a quote on Stephen King in a little dot. This is one of the great novelists of our time or something like that. I happen to be a fan of John Sanford. I've been a fan of John Sanford for a really long time. Got my daughter hooked on him as well. I used to be a big fan of James Patterson. I like some of James Patterson's, but I like his old stuff. I'm not a real big fan of the newer stuff where he's got a whole bunch of people writing with him. I like the ones from way back when he was writing stuff himself. Somebody said this looked like John Travolta. I guess in a way, maybe it kind of does. So there's no telling. There's no telling what I'm going to be doing with this. Let's see what tomorrow's is. Build. Tomorrow's is build. Something for me to think about. So that's the stology that I've been using. Boy, this is a chunky monkey. Let me talk about this for a minute. This is my Hobonichi A5, and I've been trying to kind of figure out what I'm doing for 2020. This technically has been a lot of different things. It's been a journal, it's been a planner, it's been all different kinds of things depending on my mood. It really has. And I've really enjoyed it. But what I've realized is that I'm not taking advantage of the way that it's set up. And so these are the main colors that I used in the Inktober sketch. This pen I'm going to have to do something with because it doesn't really want to, it doesn't like that ink. Okay. What I want to start doing, this is all the work stuff. I'm not finished. I'm going to do a watercolor with me. I guess I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that later. I'm going to go get Victor this afternoon, and we're having a movie night. So I may do some later once Victor goes to sleep. But what I want to start doing is writing down my thoughts, what I did after I did them. Like, this is the list of things for work. And then my ideas and notes and research and recommendations and anything like this, if I'm trying to mull something over like this, what do I want to order in November? I'm still, I've got this, I don't know about these. This should have a question mark. But I started writing down things. You know, what I'm thinking of doing for 2020 is using those Stillman and Burns, the burgundy, I think they're the mixed media sketchbooks. They're A5 size. And cutting them down to B6 so that they're a little bit more square. And having one each, one for Victor and one for Selena. And doing random things like drawing, adding pictures or whatever. I really like the way that those are, and I can label them and I can stack them up instead of spending a bunch of money on a notebook. I thought about getting the A6 Hobonichi. I'm not for doing this because it's dated. I thought about getting the undated stuff. I'm not. I can find Tomaway River notebooks. They're a lot less than having stuff shipped from Japan. As a matter of fact, the micro dot, they have A6s from Nanami Paper. They have A6s from Taroko Design, a lot of different places. But I like the idea of, it's a soft bound, but it feels kind of hard, those sketchbooks. I like that idea. So that's what I'm going to be doing for that. My journal, this is for, this is more me and David and life and documenting my life in general, and it will get passed down, and my kids can look at it. They can split them up. They can, if I have other grandchildren, because eventually, I mean, I may have more grandchildren, so I may have to get more sketchbooks. But this is more just my life, and if people later on down the line, like David or my kids or Victor or whatever, and they read it, then great. I'm still working on things. I'm filling things in. I'm trying to get caught up, y'all. Trying to get caught up, but I like how this is. I'm not going to be doing this stuff in here anymore. This is the bullet journal stuff, and I'm going to show you. So this was everything. The bullet journal, the planning, the documenting my life. I'm not doing it anymore. Decided that this last quarter of the year, I played around with it. I got used to doing it. That doesn't mean I necessarily liked having my to-dos on the pages with my journal stuff. And this is where, like, I didn't have any to-dos on here. I stopped sometime in September really doing the to-dos. Mostly that was when I was in Georgetown with David. There's some to-dos. You'll see they kind of come back, and then they will have disappeared. Like, there's none here. There's none here. There's none here. There's the Polaroid zip. I had to put more in there. There's no to-dos. And I was like, oh, I missed having no to-dos on my journal pages. And you get right here and there's to-dos. And I could keep it to the left side and do the journaling to the right side, but I have like a list of things. I just don't. There's some people who do. I can do it if I have to. If I had to settle down into one journal and do every single thing, I could. That doesn't mean I have to like it. And if I don't like it, I'm not really, it's going to make me miserable. And here come the planes. That's why this, and I put the dates backwards, I realized. This is yesterday's. These are the stockings. Actually, I have them right here that I'm going to be wearing for Grandmama's. Yeah. I'm going to be Grandmama from the Addams Family. And I just stuck that up there because I, wanted to. But they came in. They weren't very much at all. And I actually will wear them. Like, I like them. They're going to make my legs look wider. Stripes, horizontal. But they didn't have vertical. So anyway, this is today's page. This was Wednesday's page and Tuesday's page, and this was Monday's page, and I still have to watercolor this. So I'm going to be filling some things in. Y'all ask me about journaling, and a lot of times I don't put the journaling in there until later. Sometimes I start it, or I'll start something. But anyway, you can see the note from the card that I was sent. That was a thank you card from Leanne from Creatively Free to Be Me. And the magic thing is in here. I'll show you that. But I use that stuff. I save that stuff, y'all. And if it's something that I really like, I'll put it in. But anyway, so this is my Document My Life journal. And it was everything. And I'm just going to I'm going to continue to use it until it's full. And then once it's full, I'm going to figure out, I like the Tomoe rubber paper, but I really like 68 GSM Tomoe rubber paper better. It's more for art. So that's that. Now, this is the bullet journal. This is for those, okay, let me backtrack for a minute. This is a Sojourner folio. I got it from the Buy Sell Trade Group. This is a Sojourner folio. I got it from the Buy Sell Trade Group. I believe that up under here is where the S is for the Sojourner, because this had the extra pocket put on. I think the lady who bought it might have had the pocket put on. It was a brown color. I dyed it to this burgundy color. I bought this from the Buy Sell Trade Group. This is a Sojourner. This is houses my Hobonichi. I am going to get the A5 Hobonichi for next year. I'm going to get the big one, the A5. I'm not going to get the AVEC again. I'm going to get the big one so that everything is all in one. I thought the AVEC might be good to use with one of these notebooks to jot things down, but because I'm using it for work and for creative stuff, life and ideas, and moving forward with different goals that I have creatively, which I've not been doing lately. I'm going to talk some more about that at the end of the video. So I have this, and next year this is going to be all about work stuff, Patreon, YouTube, anything else that might end up. So now this is a File of Facts Malden. I think it's a personal. I de-ringed it. It has a B6 stology inside of it. I house things like my number stencil. Those are my tarot cards. This, I have an old Subway gift card in there to use to cut washi tape, or to use to do my page when I put glue down. This is a sticker from Brie. This is this year's calendar, next year's calendar. I don't know if this is going to last through 2020. I know that Ryder Carroll says to start a new one. I don't know that I want to start a new one. I just started this one. It depends on how full this gets. So we start. This is my future log. And this is kind of where I look back and I look at things, what's going on. Because I put appointments, birthdays, anything that's important like that here that's date specific. Fourth quarter goals, still working on. Here's where October starts. So this is my bullet journal. I need to catch up with my field notes thing. That tells me where I'm at. I'm on week 1 right here. I need to catch up. I've been busy doing other stuff and I haven't caught up on everything, but I am like pretty much up right here. I've got to go through and figure out what I've done right here, and write down some of the things right here, because I'm putting these in after, because this is my list to go by. There's the card. It says Make Magic, and I love the way that looked, and so I put it right here. This is where we talk about, this is the end. This was the last day of September, and I want to talk about journaling for depression and anxiety, because I had a really hard time, and that's one of my videos that I want to do this month. So it's one of the plans for October, and I'm working on self-care. So this is where I get into some of the stuff that I do every month, and I've combined everything into this, except for my journal, like my art, my document my days, document my life, like with art kind of stuff. This is the more business side of things. I have this. These are things, and I've got some stuff to add to here. So this was Tuesday, and I haven't put anything here, and I don't know if I'm going to. This is my Preptober, which I'm working on. As you can see, I started writing some things down. This was where I talked about how I plan the brain dump, the coffee chats, Vlogtober videos and stuff. I did this, so we're gonna do that. I did this. I haven't done that. I need to do, I'm in the middle of doing that. This is right now. This is what I'm doing right now. So that's next. These are video suggestions. This was Wednesday's page. And the latte, this is like a very, very dark gray. It's not black. I have platinum carbon for black, so I didn't want to get the black. So I got the really dark gray, and you can see the difference. This is like a charcoal kind of gray. This was yesterday, and some ideas about self-care, my video for self-care. And this was some things that I want to include in the post that I'm going to do at the end of this week for Patreon with pictures, because I'm going to do an update with a bunch of different pictures. So one of my things for this morning, for Thursday morning, was, hey, just keep swimming. If I'm in pain, I can keep walking, I can keep journaling, I can keep doing some of this. I listened to Rose's class, and this is where I took some notes. This was my positive quote of the day. This was a book, a recommendation, and here's today's. There's my positive quote for the day. It's from Star Wars, and this is where we're at. And I decided, I do like this, but I decided for today to kind of see if I liked doing the X's a little bit better. So these, yeah, these are the planners and the journals that I'm using. I don't have anything else. I do have some sketchbooks, but right now, because of Inktober, I'm not using the sketchbooks. What do I use on a regular basis? These 4 things that I showed you. I feel like I'm coming a long way with the bullet journaling. I feel like it's making a lot more sense. For example, this is, that's a little note. It's what I'm using, and then, you know, different things like that. I'm just using up stickers that I have, and I think eventually I will do a few other things, maybe doodles from the sketch notes book that I'm still reading. But y'all, I've gotten so into The Institute by Stephen King. I'm 3/4 of the way through it, and I haven't been reading anything else, including the sketch notes book or anything else. I've just been reading The Institute. I'm so into that book. Yeah, it feels much more like some of his older writing. I really love it. And he's talking about places in South Carolina in the Institute that are right down the road from me. Alcaloo, Latta. I used to live in Latta. I used to live in Florence for a while. I know where Alcaloo is. It's right down the road from me. And it is very small. So I don't know, I can see it in my head what he's talking about, where Tim is at. If y'all, for those of you who aren't Stephen King, Tim is one of the characters. He starts out being the main character, and then you know you're going to get to somebody else. So there's like 2 main characters in this, and then there are a lot of other supporting characters. So anyway, so that's where I'm at now. I'm going to flip this so I can do a chat for those of you who are on Patreon, and a very brief one for those of you who are on YouTube. And I'll see you back in a minute.